And hi folks, a very warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. I am Xander. John is with me to go through the weekend fixtures and more importantly the Celtic game against Kilmarnock. Fantastic result. Let's bring in John. How are you, John?
Alright, good result. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, again, it's nail biting stuff right to the end. But again, like I keep saying, normally when I'm watching Celtic and are kind of underperforming, I tend to switch it off. It's because you get that feeling they're never going to score, but it just seems to be something's told me recently to keep watching because something good's going to happen, and lo and behold, something good happened.
Something very good happened, John. Absolutely tremendous, wasn't it? You know, but we can't be going on playing games of football in this fashion for much longer, John. I know people will say as long as we're winning, it doesn't matter, but that's not the case, John, because we're not always going to score last second goals, not last minute, last second goals, John. That's 3 games in a row we've did that. Anyway, John, we'll get into it. We'll get into the big post-match reaction. We'll get into the Celtic news. We'll get into everything else that's been happening around about Celtic. We'll do the predictor later on, be midweek predictor as well. And we'll catch up with the weekend predictors also. Nobody got the correct score right in the league table on your left-hand side there. Nobody got it. So that goes into the midweek fixture against Stuttgart. You don't have to put your guess in this video if you don't want, folks. You can wait till Wednesday if you want, because we'll be on Wednesday to chat about that. But if you want to put it in this video, that's fine. Put your guess in for the Stuttgart game in this video if you want. Not a problem. Hit that like button as well, because the likes have went up and up and up. It's been lovely to see. So thank you very much, everybody, for hitting that like button. Hit it again if you don't mind. That would be appreciated. Right, John, let's get into the news, shall we say? Any news surrounding Celtic? And there's a wee bit going on just now before we get into the big post-match reaction to that Kilmarnock game. Obviously, it was Martin O'Neill's 300th game in charge at the weekend, so it was an absolutely fantastic game for his 300th game, John. That was a game and a half, that one against Kilmarnock.
It was. I really enjoyed that, actually. I thought Kilmarnock played pretty well. Without being like a dirty team or anything like that, I just thought, overall, I thought Kilmarnock performed pretty well. Deserved their 2 goals that they got. Shoddy defending from Celtic again. Kasper Schmeichel's all over the place, passing it straight to Kilmarnock players, then gets it back and kicks it out for a throw-in. This guy's got to be dropped. I don't care what anybody says. And he's at fault for the goal as well. We can get into that a wee bit more if you want.
Aye, of course, John. We'll get to that in 5-10 minutes. But you're right, John. Kasper Schmeichel, we've been mentioning for months. How many goals is that? He's conceded now. Is it 43, something like that? It's quite poor. It really is. And mistake after mistake on Sunday there, John. So, and I had a wee laugh at the bench as well. But we'll go into that later, John. Neil McCann and Billy Dawes. I didn't even realise that they were the management team there. So I was proud to see their faces at the end of it, to be honest with you. But we'll continue with the news, John. Arnie Engels out for up to 6 weeks. That's a big blow for us at this time of the season.
It's always a blow to lose players. Any player, I've said it 100 times, I don't rate Arnie Engels anyway. But he certainly offers more than what Hatate does. That is a blow, aye.
Yeah, it's a massive blow, John. 6 weeks. I mean, how many games is that? He's missing a lot. You know, I don't think that any other team in the country had the level of injury that we've had. You know, these are no players that play every now and again. These are players that are playing every single game, John, and they're picking up these injuries. Your Carter Vickers, your Alistair Johnsons, now Arnie Engels out for long term, you know, and it's no just them, other players as well, John. So he's out for 6 weeks anyway. Big blow for us, John. I can't believe it's 6 weeks. I thought it was going to be maybe 3 or 4 games. But the fact that it's at the end of March before he's even thought about coming back into the team is a big blow for us. Araujo, John, Araujo, however you want to pronounce the boy's name, he has been added to the European squad, which is fantastic. He wasn't in, the league phase in the squad, John. He wasn't there for the league phase, so he's been added to the knockout phase. So he's there for at least a couple of games, John.
I suppose that's good news. So that, like we're talking about Engels being injured, it's always first team starters that are getting injured, isn't it? Most expensive player at the club. All right, I don't rate him, but he's still a first team regular. And right now, I think he was better than Hatate, who's really poor. But it's good to have a Araujo in for the Stuttgart game, because he's one of the shining lights in Celtic right now, I think, Araujo. I think he's been outstanding since he came in. I'd love to see Celtic get him on a full contract. Is it Bournemouth that came from? In Bournemouth, I think they paid about 8 million or something like that. I looked it up a few days ago. He's in contract with them until 2029. I don't know if they've got any plans of keeping him full time. They might want to let him go. It depends what they've got there already. I don't know. I don't know anything about Bournemouth, but I would love them to say, look, buy him for what we paid for him. I'd take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think there'll be plans ongoing to keep Araujo at the club, John. He's a fantastic right back. We went into that in depth in the last podcast with Araujo against, Alistair Johnston, who's a better player, all that kind of stuff. Both outstanding fullbacks. But the more quality we've got in the squad, the better, John. So I think that the board should really be pulling all the strings to get him on a permanent deal. Obviously, the cost permitting into it, John, because Celtic have got that limit when it comes to price, so we'll wait and see what happens in the summer with that. And talking of players on loan, etc., John, Lewis Palmer, he wants to make his move to Lech Poznan permanent. So that's good news for all concerned, I suppose. But there's a standoff for this £4 million buyout clause, John. Celtic wanting the £4 million for him, and Lech Poznan are humming and hawing about paying the price. But if they can come to some sort of agreement, I'm sure there's a wee bit of come and go there, John. I think Lewis Palmer, he'll be on his way out of Celtic permanently in the summer.
Look, when it comes to Celtic, clubs hold out for the price, so why shouldn't Celtic do exactly the same thing? If they like him that much, pay up. It's as simple as that. You like this player, pay up. If you've not got the money, give us him back and we'll sell him to somebody else. As simple as that. Because other teams do that with Celtic. So Celtic should act in the exact same way. I don't want him back at Celtic anyway. I don't think any Celtic fan wants him back. Muttley.
Yeah, Muttley, remember that? Yeah, he never done nothing there, let's be honest. Just another Dirk Boer actor, as far as I'm concerned. So if he leaves, and we get the money in the bank. That would be better for all parties, I suppose, John. So we'll wait and see what happens again in the summer when the transfer window reopens. Right, John, Rio Hatate looks very unsettled. He's now making noises that he's unsettled at the club. Rio Hatate, if the boy's unhappy, we just need to, drop the boy, sell him in the summer, John. I know it's very difficult now. We've got the Arnie Ingles injury, and we need to rely on Rio Hatate this season, because apart from Rio, all we've got on that bench is like McCowan and Bernardo, and obviously Martin O'Neill doesn't fancy any of the two of them, John. So Rio Hatate, apparently, rumours have it that he is making noises about wanting to leave the club.
Let him go. He's doing nothing for Celtic anyway. Cracking player that he is. I still think he's a cracking player. Just recent times, he's done absolutely nothing. So it's time for him to go anyway. His performances are poor. So, let the boy go. And he would go with my blessings, because he did Celtic well over the 3 years he's been there. I think he's been fantastic. Just sadly this season, I think his heart's elsewhere. He's had enough. And yet the same can be said for Diz and Maida. There's slightly better performances from him, but Rio Hatate, it's time for him to go.
Yeah, the players are really, really struggling domestically just now, John, aren't they? We'll go into the Kilmarnock game in a wee minute, obviously, but the last few games especially, John, going behind in every game and having to, try and bag late winners, which we've been doing. I mean, Martin O'Neill, fantastic manager. He's getting the most he possibly can out of these boys. But, John, there's going to be a time when it's going to be too much, and we're not going to get that last minute when it's so. We need these boys. These boys, they're getting the results. We're getting the results just now, but that's not going to last forever, John. The boys need to pull their finger out for the full 90 minutes.
They need to go at teams from the start and finish them off early, because that's not happened the whole season. I haven't seen that the whole season. I think Dundee United game, that was it, but we've not really seen anything this season. Celtic normally 2-0, 3-0 up by half time and all that stuff. All right, the big finale finish is always, it's a good feeling. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a cracking feeling when your time with a team and the last kick of the ball hits the back of the net. I mean, there isn't any better feeling in watching football, but like you say, how long's that going to last? That's not going to carry on for every game.
No, definitely not, John. It's a massive concern, John, because there's going to be bigger opposition coming up very soon. And I know we're getting the results. We shouldn't really be mourning too much. I just worry that the trend continues, John. We play, domestic teams, shall we say. We're not talking about Europe here, obviously, but we play some domestic teams and we're drawn in the 90th minute. That last minute winner, isn't it always going to come, John, is it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not always going to come. But when it does come, like I says, it is sensational to win games like that. If you were guaranteed to win games like that, you'd be looking for an extra tier to be added to Celtic Park with the excitement. But it's not going to happen every game. They've really got to go for the throat or the jugular of all these teams in Scotland from the start. They've really got to start upping their game, the Celtic players, because if we can't say it enough, it's not going to happen every game. There's going to come a time where these games are going to be greeted with boos at the end because they haven't managed to bag that late winger. That's the simple truth.
Yeah, that's it, John. And it's a concern. And, you've got Rio Hatate unsettled. You've got Arne Engels now out injured. You've got Luke McCowan and Bernardo not fancied by the manager. I'm beginning to wonder if we should look at this free agent market again, for any decent midfielders that are kicking about that we could sign just now. Obviously, everybody that's it's not got a club just now, they're obviously, unfit or, they're too old or whatever, John. But let's have a wee quick look at a couple of players that are available. James Rodriguez, 34-year-old midfielder, he's available, looking for a club for the upcoming World Cup, still looking for a club. Jesse Lingard, 33-year-old midfielder, unattached also, John, he's looking for a club also. Jesse Lingard, another decent midfielder. Dele Alli, another decent midfielder, also looking for a club as well, John. So there is some players out there that we could sign just now, but obviously the big stumbling block for players like that, your Dele Allis, your Lingards of this world, is the wages, John.
Well, that's always a stumbling block for Celtic, but look, if they're not getting a game and they're looking to get into a World Cup squad or whatever, then surely they would take a hit in wages just to get themselves on the window, for the national team. Playing at a big club like Celtic, maybe on 40 grand a week. It's a lot of money though, isn't it? Celtic's paying too many players that kind of wage right now that aren't performing. So I think Celtic, I don't think they'll be looking to spend any more in wages this season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's it, John. We've done our business. But, with the injury now to Arne Engels, things have changed. And now Rio, apparently, rumours saying that he's unsettled at the club. But that's nothing confirmed, John, obviously. But, that's maybe something Martin should have a wee look at if he's listening. Okay. Just one more wee thing, John. In the news, and it's not really news, it's just something that I thought we would bring up before we get into the big game at the weekend there. The Kilmarnock pitch, John. By the looks of things, that'll be the last time we need to play on that plastic pitch. So that's good news for every Celtic supporter, John. We don't need to play in that dreadful surface anymore.
Aye, it was supposed to be ripped up at the start of this season, but they extended that for some reason. You've also got a plastic pitch at Livingston and Falkirk. I think they're trying to outlaw these pitches. They're an absolute joke to play on. You've seen the uncertainty in players in that game, especially Celtic players. But I was watching Kilmarnock players as well. You can see uncertainty in them, getting into tackles and making a run and stuff. You could see the hesitation in them, the way players would normally act on a grass pitch. It's the same for Kilmarnock players as well. I'm sure they'd rather be playing on a grass pitch. Yeah,
of course, every player that ends up going to Rugby Park and kicking the ball about, John, they'd all rather grass. It's just got to play the cards you're dealt, and that's the cards that we've been dealt for the last 4 or 5 years up at Rugby Park, and that's just about over for Celtic, John. It's just about over unless we get them in the Scottish Cup at Rugby Park, that's always a possibility. I don't know if they're still in the cup or not. But anyway, John, that's that. Just one more wee thing. Stuttgart won 3-1. That's our next opponents on Thursday night. They won 3-1 at home against Cologne. So they're back in winning ways just in time to play Celtic. And that's normally the case. But every team we play, they're normally back to winning ways. Right, John, okay. That's it. That wraps it up. Let's get into the Kilmarnock game then at the weekend there. It was a game. Well, I thought we were going to be a wee bit more comfortable anyway. My score prediction was 3-0 for this one. I think yours was 4-2. You were actually quite close. If there was a wee bit more time, maybe we would have got that 4-2, John. But 3-2 it was, John. 3-2 goals from Tenecte, and what a hit that was in the second half. Nygren with a tap-in, and Araujo with a nice finish actually for a defender. In the 96th minute, I think that was, near the end of the game, close enough to the end of the game. I don't know if my heart can take it anymore, John, but the first half, John, in this game, what the heck happened to Celtic in that first half?
Obviously, Kilmarnock are more up for the game than Celtic, it seemed. Or maybe Celtic underestimated them. Look, you're looking at McCann and Dodds. They took over at the start of January. And I forgot to bring that up after the Rangers beat Kilmarnock at Ibrox 5-1. Well, we know why that happened. Because I know Kilmarnock was sent down to 10 men, but look at the management team. BBC Rangers. Now at Kilmarnock. But I'm not saying it. Look, I thought Kilmarnock played really well. But you look at the difference to the game at Ibrox. Where was the effort? Where was that endeavour against the Rangers?
Nowhere to be seen. That's what it was, to be honest with you. McCann and Dodds, the double act, comedy act, more like unbelievable. Dodds and especially McCann raging on the touchline. It was just so sweet, John, to get that last second goal. How sick must they feel? I put that interview on with, I think it was Tenecte and what's his name, Araujo, at full time, John, the interview, post-match interview, and you can hear the swearing and the shouting and bawling in the background, and a lot of people in the comments saying that's definitely Billy Dodds and McCann shouting. So if it is them, I'm just over the moon that that's the case, to be honest with you. Starting lineup, John, we started with Schmeichel in goal, Tierney, Scales, Trusty, Araujo, Hatate, McGregor, Nygren, Maeda, Yang and Adamu. Now, as soon as I saw that starting lineup, John, right away I said to myself, we're going to have problems today. What was your thought when you saw the lineup?
I'm not a fan of this boy up front. He did absolutely nothing. Well, he might get better. He's only just in the door. He scored as a cracking winning. Was that winning goal or an equalising goal against Dundee? I think it was. Was it? I can't remember. But Adamu, what I've seen of him so far, he's very, very slow, very laboured. He's a mile off the pace. So that was a concern for me. And I'm saying in these domestic fixtures, always start with your strongest team, because Europe means nothing to me. We're not going to win the Europa League. That's not going to happen. And Martin O'Neill's obviously rested players with Stuttgart in mind. But for me, it's the other way around. I definitely think you should be starting with the strongest team possible in these domestic games, because he sees how we're struggling. And we're playing on a plastic pitch as well. Surely he must say, if they're struggling to beat teams at Celtic Park, teams like Falkirk and Dundee, they're going to struggle on a plastic pitch against Kilmarnock with BBC Rangers at the helm.
Yeah. I know, anywhere they go, they get a job, don't they, John? Whether it's football or punditry, they get the jobs, they really do. No, you're absolutely right, John. I just thought the starting lineup was a bit weak for a team going to Rugby Park on the plastic pitch. Very weak, John. Adamu, not tried, not tested. Yang off for him. Your man in goals, Schmeichel, very poor all season. Dizamida, slightly off for him. Hatate off for him. I just thought we were asking for trouble, John. But it's just as well, that we did have that very strong bench, John. So maybe Martin O'Neill himself knew the first half was going to be a bit sticky for us.
I really don't know what he thought, but yeah, you've got to start with your strongest team. That's always what I say when it comes to the domestic stuff. That's our bread and butter. You've got to win the domestic games first and foremost. Champions League is where Celtic want to be for the money, for the funds to strengthen the team and all that stuff. But the Europa League, it's just no for me at all, especially this season. And we're in a fight to win the league. You've got to start with your strongest team. And that's always what I say. Every season I'll say that. That's our bread and butter. You've always got to start with your strongest team in the league. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's the most important thing, John. But as you know, you made the changes, didn't you? The second half, you made the changes. Nothing to talk about in the first half, John. May as well forget about it, apart from Kasper Schmeichel's goalkeeping, John. I mean, that second goal especially, a very, very weak header lobbed over a goalkeeper like Kasper Schmeichel, John. He's either got to get his act together, John, or he's finished. What do you think, buddy, Kasper Schmeichel?
To me, he's got to be dropped. He's got to be dropped. He's conceded far too many goals, far too many mistakes. Why did he not put his left hand up to save that? That's what I'm saying. Why is he putting his right hand up when he could have just stuck his left hand up and caught it with one hand? I don't get it. Why is he trying to be fancy, trying to go with his right hand? I know he had a shoulder injury, maybe that's causing him bother still. If you've got a shoulder injury and you're a goalkeeper, you should be dropped instantly. It's as simple as that, because that's a left-hand save all day. That's all it takes. He's tried to go with the right hand and he's missed it by about 3 inches. Sticks his left hand up, he's catching it with one hand. It was that weak an effort. You could have caught that with one hand.
Yeah, of course, John. I'm very concerned about Kasper Schmeichel just now. Every single game, it's very, very rarely now that he gets a clean sheet, John. So, yeah, it's a concern. But, you know, we did get the win. You know, we've got to bear that in mind with everything that we're saying here. We did get the 3 points, John. So that's obviously the most vital thing here. But, you know, we've got Stuttgart in midweek, John. We definitely can't be defending like that against Stuttgart.
No, you can't defend like that against anybody. You can't defend like that against an Athletic. The defence is terrible. It's absolutely shocking. The only one shining light in that defence right now is Araujo. For me, anyway. But the rest, it's all over the place. I've seen Trusty try to time a header, pull out the header, and the ball bounces and it goes right over the top of him and Kilmarnock are in and goal. It's absolutely shocking. Trusty, he's a nightmare. He's an absolute bomb scare waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's when you look at, you know, the whole defence as a whole, John. They're all top quality players. You know, you've got Araujo, top player. Trusty is a top player. He does some decent stuff. Scales is a top player, and Tierney is a top player. So why? I mean, if we knew this, we'd be the manager, obviously, John. But why are they not gelling as a team, as a defence, John?
I don't know. You need to ask them that. I really don't know. My only thing is they're no defending as a team. The midfield's poor. Teams are getting through the midfield really easy. I'm like you. I'm not a manager. I don't know what the problem is, but you can look at the team from the midfield. I think the midfield is extremely weak and vulnerable. I think teams are they're bossing Celtic in the centre of the park. And then when it comes to the defence, they're banging in goals. Opposition teams, they don't fear Celtic. They simply don't fear us. I think going forward we look okay. Defending, I think anybody could score against us.
Right, okay, that's the defence anyway, John. But we did get 3 fantastic goals, and they were all good goals. Well, the first and the last one were good goals, John. But the first goal, Tenecte wonder strike from well outside the box, John. What a hit that was. Candidate for goal of the season for me, John, considering what it meant. You know, it brought us right back into the game. But a very, very decent finish from Tenecte, John. A brilliant goal, lovely goal from him.
It was outstanding. turned that wee Rangers loan player inside out as well. The wee guy that celebrated the Kilmarnock goal in front of the Celtic fans. Did you see him?
Yeah, I did. I seen all the celebrations. That's premature celebrations yet again, isn't it?
I've Rangers player out on loan, score the first goal and he's sticking his fists up to the Celtic fans and all that, get it round you, that kind of stuff. Don't be premature, don't do that stuff till you've won the game, because you make yourself look like a bit of a clown, and he is a clown anyway. But anyway, to nick his goal, outstanding. Aye, you won't see a better finish all season, to be honest with you. That was out of this world, that one. He scored a couple of crackers this season now to nick to. Aye, I was happy enough with that one. As soon as that went in the net, I thought, right, that's it. This is going to be one of these games again. It's going to be one of these last minute games. I just had a feeling we would win that game again as soon as that hit the net.
Yeah, it was a worry for me, John. It really was. Pouring the rain, dreadful, miserable, all the usual things, John. And the way they were celebrating at 2-0, it's, everybody celebrating at 2-0. Was quite pathetic for me, John, to be honest with you. A full 45 minutes to go, but we did get the feeling 2-0 down at half time. It was a massive scoreline to try and turn round. So fair play to the boys on the park that did it, John. Nygren equaliser to make it 2-2. Just a break, a long throw in, went it, broke to him in the box and he taps it home, John. So nothing really to speak of there, but just fantastic we got that equaliser when we did, John. There was still 20 minutes to go.
Aye, if we take any kind of goal at that stage, anything does, and it had to be something like that to get us back into it. I was thinking it's going to be something scrappy, because the game's quite scrappy. BBC Rangers were loving it on the bench, weren't they? McDodds and McCann, BBC Rangers we'll call them, laughing and all that, laughing at Celtic, they were loving it, jumping, tap each other, the celebrations from them were unreal. I just love that, when I see them laughing like that and then you see them at the end, the difference in their faces. It's that's what makes this stuff good, is seeing that. McCann and Dodds absolutely sick. That's what made it all the sweeter for me, that they two are in charge of that club with their hello hello song. Is that the only song they've got?
Yeah, that's the way the old song goes, isn't it? Hello hello, it's the only song you know.
Well, you talk about chants, Hearts Mob as well at Ibrox. Why do they steal Celtic songs? What's it with these teams that they can't think of something off their own back? What's the one that was singing top of the league looking down on the Rangers? They were singing that yesterday.
Yeah, that's it, John. And a very lacklustre showing from another ex-Rangers player, John, Derek McInnes at Ibrox. Very lacklustre. More goals added to the Rangers pot. The goals scored table, if you like. More goals there for them. That was the same as Kilmarnock last week, John. 5 against Kilmarnock, 4 against Hearts. All ex-Rangers managers and players, John. So we've got to, bear that in mind. But then we get that winning goal, John. And what a feeling it was. A beautiful big turn from Finchara inside the box, John. Lovely turn, and fizzes it across the box. It breaks to Araujo. I don't know, about 8 yards out or something, no far out anyway. And he smashes it into the net, John. What a feeling when that ball hit the net. Absolutely fantastic, especially with the added time. 7 minutes of added time added on in this one, and we get the goal in the 7th minute. So absolutely beautiful. Being Neil McCann, absolutely sick. He's coming out saying the amount of added time was absolutely enormous. 7 minutes. Not sure where they got that from. Absolutely sick. It's just beautiful to hear that, John.
He's not the only one saying that. Every Rangers fan in the country is saying that. They're raging. They're absolutely raging with 7 minutes getting added on. They forget a Kilmarnock player was doing for about 4 minutes injured. Then you've got all the subs and VAR checks and all that stuff. What are they talking about?
Yeah, that's it, John. It's it's actually lovely, isn't it? Though it's so nice to hear, these sort of complaints when it's Celtic that's on the winning end of a result, John. Absolutely fantastic. And I don't really care how many minutes were added on, John, to be honest with you. 7-1, 2. As long as we get that goal, that's all that's important. But as you say, John, there was a lot of stoppages in the game. Same as the game before, John, the Livingston game, where they only added on the 4 minutes when one player was down for 4 minutes alone. So I suppose 7 minutes is about right for this one. Hello.
Aye, sorry, I had you muted there. I was thinking that myself watching it. I was thinking there's a lot of injury time at the end of this game. There's got to be, because there's been so many stoppages, long time stoppages, not just a quick 20 seconds. Nah, there's been quite a few stoppages and all the subs and all that. I had a feeling there was going to be at least 6-7 minutes added on at the end. So, fully justified. I don't know what all the Sifconians are raging about. All over social media, raging about that. And you know what? It's just so sweet. That's sickened them more than it's sickened Kilmarnock.
Yeah, of course it did, John. It's very interesting when you listen to them. You can actually hear it in their voice, how sick they are, John, by Celtic getting that one. But, you know, it's, as I say earlier, John, it's not going to happen all the time. We can lap it up just now and enjoy it just now, but we need to really get our act together, as in the players on the park, John. We can't go playing only 45 minutes a game. And it has happened a lot this season, John. 45 minutes of decent football and then 45 minutes of practically no turning up, John. It happened against Rangers, it happened in other games as well. And it happened against Kilmarnock on Sunday.
You've got to go again for the kill from the start. You really have. The Celtic's got to start stamping their authority on this Scottish League again. Because right now, it looks like they're there for the taking. Somebody's going to take us if we continue playing like that. We're going to go to some ground, or somebody's going to come to Celtic Park, bag a goal and defend it and beat us. And we've got hard games coming up. Very hard games. We've got Motherwell, Hibs, we've got Rangers twice, Stuttgart. These are all very, very tough games. And if we get through them unscathed, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, I know, John. It's just as well we've got a top class manager there, John, and Martin O'Neill. It really is. But, you know, it's that's what he's there for. That's why the board brought in Martin O'Neill, John, into it. Because we know exactly the kind of manager that he is. Some stats in this one, John. Some stats. 7 saves for Kasper Schmeichel, 24 shots for Celtic, 8 of which were off target, 472 passes completed, that's 61% completion rate, 26 crosses into the box for Celtic, and 3 yellow cards for Celtic, John. So, as a dominant showing there, John, it really is. You know, the percentage was, I think it was 61% to Celtic, 39% to Kilmarnock, John. So again, domination there, but just that very lacklustre first half, John. So okay, that's it, John. That's it. The game's done and dusted. We get the win over the line. The reaction to that one, as you say, John, was absolutely pathetic from the Scottish press. You know, I listened to a wee bit of it on the radio, and it was what Kilmarnock had to do to hold on to it at 2-0. They were speaking at half time. The panel on there, and Bonner was one of them. Paddy Bonner was one of them, John. What Kilmarnock had to do, no mention of what Celtic had to do to turn it around, with it being such a close league title, league challenge this season, John. It was all about Kilmarnock for the BBC.
I listened to it on the BBC, actually. The guy that puts them up on YouTube, he puts the full commentary up on YouTube the day after the game. So I listened to that this morning, had a wee listen to it to see what they were like. Just to hear the Celtic goals, actually. That was more what I listened to it for. And I noticed that commentator Alistair Lamont kept calling Nygren Nugren. It's nothing like Nugren. What's he talking about, Nugren?
Alistair Lamont, I mean, honestly, he was hitting out with some really stupid stuff on that BBC, John. He really is quite bad, him, actually. I don't know where they got him for, to be honest with you. Let's have a wee look at one of the wee things actually he said. That he was talking about the Rangers players against Hearts. You know, this was at 1 each. What a game this is, he says. Yusuf Chermiti, very fast-paced striker for Rangers. What a signing. I mean, this is the kind of nonsense this guy's hitting it with, because he scores a couple of goals at Ibrox against Hearts, John, you know. You never hear him saying anything decent about any Celtic player, John, this Alistair Lament.
No, he wouldn't have been commentating on the Rangers game.
No, he wasn't done, no, but he reported on it on the BBC.
Sorry, he's reported on it, did he?
Yeah.
I know he was commentating on the Celtic game. I never knew, I don't watch it reports and all that stuff, but the guy just sounds like an idiot, to be honest with you. His pronunciation of Celtic players' names, he was getting a Rujo. I know we get it wrong as well. I don't know how you pronounce them, but it's closer than what he says. Where's the U comfy in Nygren? It might be Nygren, it might be Nygren. It certainly isn't Nugren.
Well, Nygren, he gets the equaliser, John Nygren.
Yeah, maybe a beautiful wee finish from Nygren. It was honestly, listen to it back on YouTube, BBC commentary, and you'll hear him every time Nygren's mentioned. It's Nygren every single time. Did nobody feel like correct him, saying it's no Nygren, it's Nygren, or it's Nygren? It's certainly no Nygren, mate. Get on with it. Come on, get your act together.
Yeah.
Talk about Nygren.
Yeah, that's it, John. But it's, you know, that's to be expected. You know, this it didn't happen at other clubs, John. Let's put it that way.
No, is he going to call Schmeichel Schmuckel? No, I mean, it's the same thing, same type of pronunciation. That's how much an error he's got there with that. It doesn't really matter. Like, at the end of the day, I just listened to it to hear the goals. He seemed quite happy about the Celtic goals, right enough. No happy, but he's I quite enjoyed his reactions to the Celtic goals, especially the one.
Yeah, that's it, John. As I said, I didn't actually listen to it, but I was over the moon when that final whistle went, John. And what a reaction from the Celtic supporters. What did you make of that? Obviously, Araujo jumping right in amongst the fans. It was just beautiful to watch, John.
Araujo.
Yeah, if Alistair Lament has anything to do with it, since he likes pronouncing people's names wrong.
Aye. I think I called him up months ago, Alistair Lament. I think, let's move away from the BBC stuff. We've got enough to talk about with Dodds and McCann, BBC Rangers on the Kilmarnock bench.
Yeah.
We've got Araujo jumping into the crowd and jumping up and down with him and getting selfies with him and all that stuff. And then he laughs at the referee when he gets his yellow card. I love the guy. He's got a brilliant personality as well. When you see him getting interviewed and Martin O'Neill walks past him and says, ask him about his first half performance. And he just laughs at it. We'll talk about that another day. He says, he's got a cracking personality. And I like that with players full of smiles, very humble. You've got to admire that in the boy. He's so happy to beat Celtic. I just hope we can get somebody like him permanent. Not just because of that. I like to see players smiling on the park and all that stuff and in their interviews, but he's also a top performer. Yeah,
he is a top performer, John. But the fans were fantastic. And by the way, 2-0 down, the Celtic fans sung their hearts out, so fair play to every single one of them, John.
Aye, Celtic fans were great on the day, of course they were. Celtic fans are great. Most days when they're away from home, they tend to sing their hearts out, and they got their prize at the end. They got their efforts rewarded by that last kick of the ball winner yet again. So Celtic fans top notch at Rugby Park, and so glad they get sent home with a victory, Xander. They deserve that.
Yeah, and it's it now puts us in a position where we win our game in hand. I don't know what the goal difference is, but if we win our game in hand, John, we go top. I don't know if we go top as in joint top, second on goal difference, or if we go actual top. But we win our game in hand, John. If we win our games up to our game in hand, obviously, when we play Aberdeen, we go top. So we're in a much more position than what we were a few weeks ago.
We're in a far better position than what we were a few weeks ago. If we win our game in hand, it depends on how there's still games to be played before we play that game in hand, so a lot of stuff depends on it. But if things stay as they are, I think we've got a game against the Rangers. I'm not sure. I can't remember the fixtures, but I know we've definitely got one at home. I think it's Motherwell. Can't remember. I cannot remember the fixtures. Sorry about that. But it all depends on fixtures leading up to that game in hand against Aberdeen. But if we're playing that game in hand this week and we won it against Aberdeen, we'd go second because the goal difference with Hearts is quite large. They've scored a lot more goals than Celtic. So if we were to win that game in hand, and it was this week, I know it isn't this week, but if we were to win it this week, we would be second. We would be, I think, a point above the Rangers.
Yeah, that's it, John. Yeah, okay, right, fair enough. That's, I mean, goals, you need to start banging in the goals.
Sorry, it would be 2 points above the Rangers if we won our game in hand.
Yeah, 2 points. But if we do, John, we need to start banging in the goals. The Hibs at the weekend, we need to start scoring goals without conceding goals. We really do, because that goal difference is getting a wee bit away from us, shall we say. But no, it's a fantastic position we find ourselves in now, that we could be top if we win our game in hand. And that game in hand isn't going to be easy against Aberdeen either, is it? Although they are very poor. But believe you me, by the time we play Aberdeen, they will be back on form.
I don't know about that. What Celtic might have hit form by the time we play Aberdeen, we don't know. We kind of look into the future, but it could go either way. So, aye. Look, Celtic, it's still in Celtic's own hands to win the league, which is the good thing. All we need to do is win our remaining games. It can be done. Will it be done? I'm not really too sure. I really don't know. It's hard to say with these last kick of the ball winners. It's very hard to say, but it can be done. It's in our own hands still, Xander. That's the good thing.
Yeah, what I will say is, John, that's when we normally power on, is the last 10 games of the season. That's when we kick on in every season, John. So we're hoping that's the case this season, clearly, John, to, as you say, John, top of the league if we win our game in hand. And you can't ask for any more than that, considering where we were a few weeks ago. And by the way, Aberdeen will have our manager by then, John. They'll be up for it, trust me. They'll be up for it at Pittodrie. Right, John. Man of the match for you. I know the official man of the match went to Araujo for the winning goal, John. He played decent through the game as well, although everybody did have a poor first half. But who was your man of the match, John? Are you sticking with Araujo, or have you got somebody else in mind?
I never really gave it much thought. To be honest with you, I know who wasn't man of the match, Kasper Schmeichel. And Trusty and Schmeichel, they weren't man of the match. Tierney had a good game, I thought.
Yeah.
I think I would go with that. I think I would go with that man of the match. Aye, I would agree with the players man of the match. Araujo, aye.
Yeah, I think either him or Tenecti, it's one of the two outstanding goals. But Araujo did play the full game, I suppose, John. So I suppose we've got to get to him.
That's why. I mean, if goals won man of the match, then Tenecti was winning it all day.
Yeah.
But I think because Araujo played the full game, and he scored the winning goal, and he had a fantastic celebration, and a cracking interview after the game. Aye, it's got to be him, innit?
Yeah, it's got to be him. Okay, John, I agree with that. I'm sure everybody else listening to this will agree as well. Right, John, a wee quick midweek predictor. Let's get into the predictor. You got 2 right in the predictor. So that puts you up to, what does that make it, John? 24-19, is it? In the predictor, I think you got the
25. 20. I was at 20. I don't know. I'll agree with you. I'll agree. You keep a hold of all the stats, so it's 24-19, is it?
You were 3 ahead plus 2. That makes so you're 5 ahead, whatever way we look at it, John. Right? You got a couple right anyway, John. I think it's the Hibs game you got right, in the Motherwell game, was it? I think you got right.
That's right, aye.
Yeah, so that's you're 5 ahead, whether it's 25 or 20 or 24-19, it's still 5 ahead.
Aye, 24, it's 24-19.
Yeah, and we'll do a wee quick midweek one, John. I'm just trying to think of the games that are on this midweek. There was a few I had jotted down. Yeah, here they're here, John. Let's quickly run through this. Dundee United against Spartans in the Scottish Cup. the game that was abandoned last week, Scottish Cup, Dundee United against Spartans?
I watched Dundee United at the weekend. Playing against Falkirk. Half decent wee game. I'll go for a United one. I'll go for 4-1 to United.
4-1 Dundee United, and I'll say 3-0 to United. After, as you say, a convincing 3-2, well, not convincing, a good one against Falkirk, who are on form, 3-2 away from home, very decent. Okay, St Mirren against, St Johnstone against Ayr United, and the Challenge Cup replay, John, after that was abandoned.
I think I went for a St Johnstone win the last time. I'll stick with that. I'll say 2-0 with St Johnstone. 2-0
St Johnstone in the Challenge Cup, and I'll say 1 each after 90 minutes in that one. I think that's what I said the last time as well, actually. Moving on, John's only another couple to go, and it's Morton against Lenny. Lenny watch, shall we say. Morton against Dunfermline on Tuesday night. Another rearranged fixture.
1 each.
1-1 for John, and I will say 2-1 to Morton in that one. And finally, John, another rearranged fixture. Aberdeen finally getting their home games up and running, and it's a rearranged Scottish Cup game on Wednesday. Aberdeen against Motherwell. That'll be a cracker.
It will be a cracker. I don't know what state their pitch is going to be in right enough. We'll wait and see. I'm going to go for a Motherwell win anyway. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Motherwell.
3-1 to Motherwell for John. Motherwell away from home, isn't they? And I'll say, it's so tough. You know, Aberdeen can't go on losing forever. I'll say the 2-1 to Aberdeen then. Might as well.
I hope they're going to go on losing forever.
You never know. They might do the rest of the season. They're absolutely dreadful, aren't they, John, until they come to play us. All right, John, that's it then. We'll do the big build-up of the Stuttgart game on Wednesday. We don't need to talk about that just now. All we know is that Stuttgart won their game at the weekend. They're coming to Celtic Park on the back of a decent 3-1 win against Cologne, John. So, any final sum-ups for you, buddy?
Oh, we just need to get our act together with Celtic. We need to start going for teams from the start. The way they played at the end, they need to play like that at the start of games, not the end of games. I know it takes a while for the players to get up to a pace in a game, but we've seen it with Ange Postecoglou. We've seen it a lot with Brendan Rodgers. Celtic teams gone for the jugular from the start.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing that. We're seeing it at the end of the games. Is it taking Celtic that long to get up to pace? To start putting teams under pressure at the end of games? I want to see that at the start of games. And then we can have a boring spell during the game, and then maybe a wee goal at the end, because that's the Celtic way, isn't it?
Yeah.
These last second winners, something's got to change. As much as I enjoy the last second winners, I think it's outstanding watching that. It's a great feeling. It's the best feeling you can have watching a game, Sander. Let's not kid ourselves. It's absolutely amazing, but it's also nerve-wracking at the same time. So I've got to go for teams from the start, and I'm just glad to get the 3 points. That's all I can say. Between Hearts and Rangers, we're now starting to see the table get us a lot closer now. And I think Rangers beating Hearts, I think that suited Celtic, if I'm being honest. I think Hearts, I think you maybe see them start to slide down the table. Their performances are starting to slip, Xander. And I did say, even when they were well ahead in the league, that they wouldn't win the league. I still don't think they'll win the league. I think it's between the Glasgow two again, Xander. I think you can write Hearts off at this point. I'm writing them off anyway. I've never thought they would win the league, and I still don't.
Yeah, that's right, John. You just said that from day one. Oh, from the first day they went top of the league. Yeah, it's working out that way, isn't it? It's going to be the Glasgow 2 battling it out yet again. We just hope that Celtic are the team that come out on top, and I'm sure we will be, John, because, you know, you look back to the Nancy days and look where we are now. So, absolutely tremendous. Right, John, we'll call it a day there. We'll get into that in a wee bit more detail on the next league game, John. But next up for us is the Stuttgart game. We'll do the big preview of the Stuttgart game and everything else in between as regards to news and gossip and rumours and stuff like that, John. We'll do everything on Wednesday night for the Thursday game. Right, John, thanks for coming on. I'll see you on Wednesday, buddy.
I'll catch you Wednesday, Xander. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail, John. Catch you later. Cheers.